Some of y'all just can't help it but to be mad at the next person and what they doing with their life. Baby, yes, I'm 26 with 6 kids and I'm doing the damn thing. I get up every day and make sure I do something productive around my house. I make sure that my kids see me cleaning up. I make sure that they do their part while they cleaning up. I used to think that everybody was right when they used to tell me, oh, why you got so many kids so young? It's gonna mess up your life. But baby, look, this is my life and I gotta deal with it. I ain't mad at the life that I chose. I chose it and I'm gonna do what I gotta do to provide for my kids the best way I can. And please don't get into me washing my mop in the sink. This is how I do it. This is how I seen my people do it back in the day.
When I first saw this, I was perplexed, bewildered, flabbergasted. Because we all missed something there in the beginning that some of you who pay close attention to detail caught. No, I'm not talking about washing a mop in the same place you clean your dishes. The dirt on those, let's not, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. This is what I want to pay attention to right here. 26 with 6 kids and a half. Now, here's the good news, people. I'm not going to do too much talking here until later on. I'm going to actually let this play. But this is sparking up, of course, a lot of discussions and people have things to say. Stay tuned. The coffee is hot. Let's keep listening.
But baby, look, this is my life and I gotta deal with it. I ain't mad at the life that I chose. I chose it and I'm gonna do what I gotta do to provide for my kids the best way I can. And please don't get into me washing my mop in the sink. This is how I do it. This is how I seen my people do it back in the day. And yes, I used to have a mop bucket. The kids broken and that's just, I gotta do what I gotta do.
So this is video 1. And we're going to check out some comments immediately, right? Top comment here says, y'all get online and tell us stuff we don't even be asking about. Somebody else here says, don't forget the wall, stove, and floor. So they're giving their tips here. Now, I don't know how that house managed to get to that state. Maybe that's what happens when you have 6.5 kids with no help. But that was a crazy looking kitchen. Somebody else here says, may this life never find me. Somebody else here added, you want brownie points for doing what you got to do. So here's the thing. You guys can already tell that the sentiment in the comment section from a lot of people is kind of like, yo, why are you telling us this? This right now looks like this is most people, but no, there's a contrary opinion and stance to what people are seeing right now with this single mom of 6.5 kids. There are other people who are like, hey, let her do her thing. There are other people who think this is fake. And I also thought this was just fake and there's no way she has that many kids. She does. She does. Somebody else who says, what made you want to have 6 kids in this economy? And we're going to check out a few more videos here. Let's keep watching.
I just want to say thank you so much to my middle school teacher who came and brought me this stuff so I could get the cleaning. And I absolutely thank y'all for y'all positive comments, and I thank y'all for y'all negative comments. I'm just a 26-year-old that's trying to give her kids the life she never had. You know, nobody knows my story. I'm not going to go around making anybody feel sorry for me. But what I will do is put my big girl pants on and move forward. I don't ever put my problems on nobody else because they not their problems. They my problems. I always took accountability for everything that I've done. My kids, my life, everything. And I've made the best of my book by its cover because I'm out here making something out of nothing sometimes. And I'm happy. As long as my kids happy and they smiling, that's what makes me smile inside. Every day I wake up, I'm grateful for the life that I have because I got shot when I was 14 years old. I don't know if I even would have been here to have kids. So that's why I have so many kids. My kids are my family.
I know I promised, guys. I know I did. But are you telling me that she is justifying having this many kids? At 26, you're an adult. Stop. Because I know somebody right now, that's a baby. No, it's not. It's not. Now, when she was younger, of course, right, that's different. But at 26, she is saying, I have so many kids because I I might not have been here based on my circumstances and lifestyle. And so she felt the need to repopulate the earth. Let's keep listening.
Oh, you already did it around me?
Looks better. Looks better. Let's check out some of these comments, see what else people have to say. Listen, a little forewarning. What's coming next is a bunch of people sharing very strong opinions about this particular situation. Let's check out these comments. Top comment who says, I'm going to follow because instead of clapping back and justifying the dirty cabinet, you actually cleaned them. Okay, bit of support there. Somebody else who says, I had a negative comment on the other post, and I apologize because we as Black women need to lift each other up. I'm glad you made a change. Somebody else who says, that looks so much better. Now, where are you right now? Right now, where are you right now? Where are you right now? Right prior to seeing what other people have to say in the videos that I'm going to play here in a little bit. Somebody else who says, y'all criticized her for her cabinets and she didn't get defensive. She took the time to clean them. Love this. So it looks like she won back people for cleaning the cabinets. And that's what's happening right now. Somebody else who says this kitchen is honestly not bad compared to others I've seen on this app. Come on. That kitchen was horrendous. We can't sit here and pretend, guys. We have to be honest. We have to serve it.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
We must serve the coffee. It has to happen. That kitchen was a horror movie. I mean, I was questioning why she didn't have shoes on in her own house. This is me being honest about what I saw. And to think that little kids and babies are in that environment breaks my heart. Somebody else who says it's always mom versus mom, never moms helping moms. I don't know. I see moms helping moms.
26 with 6 kids. Let me get up and do some work around this house because, yes, it's always something to do around this house. If I'm not picking up the living room, I'm picking up the kitchen. If it's not the kitchen, I'm going upstairs helping the kids do something with their room. I am tired, but it has to be done, and I'm the only one that has to do it. Don't get me wrong, I love being a mother, but some days I just don't want to do shit, and I don't because I don't have to. If I'm the main one picking up and cleaning up, I'm going to do it when I want to and when I feel like it. And please don't get in my comments judging me like your shit don't stink.
There is something satisfying. Like, I know people like to watch other people clean. That's a thing that people actually enjoy, man. The house is a mess. And with many kids, you know, I can only imagine. And you're doing it by yourself. That's tough. That's tough. All right, we're going to check out a few more comments here. Top comment says, these kids big enough to help you clean, mama. Start making them. So this lady right here is like, you need to make these kids clean and help them be more responsible around the house. I was thinking that, you know, but then I don't know how old these kids are. Somebody else, she says she has all her kids. They're not in the foster system. She feeds them, keeps the house clean, and the kids are in school. I only have one and I be stressed. So good job, mom. I get it, man. I understand that people look at this and they want to immediately jump to the fact that she's managing to do this all by herself. But I think in the long run, instead of lifting up this type of situation, and this is not me taking away from the fact that she is taking a sense of responsibility overall, I don't think this helps the problem, right? The real problem of the growing number of single mother households. And I believe you can do both. You could say, hey, you're doing your best, but also remind everybody that this is not the goal. You do not create a bunch of kids because, you know, you thought, oh, I don't know, maybe I would have never had this opportunity. And so you repopulate the earth. The data is very clear about the increase in anxiety, depression, mental illness that those kids are at risk at for not having both parents. Yes, both parents, man and woman, right? The data is very, very, very clear when it comes to this. In fact, I was listening to a lady who deals with childhood problems from a clinical perspective. And she says, even for same-sex couples, yes, she tells them straight up that one of you has to be the main caretaker because that's the way young babies operate. They need to have that and also need to know who's going to play that dad role, regardless of the dynamics within your relationship. Somebody else who says, is this a new trend? See, I guess this is something that's happening more. Somebody else who says, you have 6. Do they help you? She responds back and says, they do their part. Here's somebody else who says, listen, y'all judging, but at least she's doing her job as a parent. But is this doing your job? Here's somebody else who says, all them babies, but no help from dad. It's probably just not one dad, right? Somebody else here added, all them babies, but no help from dad. I don't know if there's a man currently in that house. We don't know. I'm going to lean towards most likely not. And listen, it's not just about having the mother and father in the home. It's also about, can you afford to raise those kids up and give them what they need? And from the looks of it already, we can guarantee that that's not the case here in this situation. Let's keep listening.
I keep seeing why and how do I got 6 kids. I think everybody knows how I got 6 kids, but why? Long story short, I was going through various situations within my household at 14, 13 years old. Ended up being with my grandma, ended up meeting my first baby daddy and moving in with him when I was 14 years old, having 3 kids with him. Then moving on to my second relationship that I'm in right now, having 5 kids with him. One that's deceased that I don't like to speak about. I just feel like some people grow up faster than others or are forced to grow up faster than others, and that's fine. You know, some people's situation is not going to be all sweet and dandy like people think or hope to see it. People gonna judge you no matter what. Just keep doing you. As long as I'm taking care of my kids, as long as my kids are fed, as long as they have clothes and shoes, that's all that really matters.
That's not true. That's not true. So we got a bit more context here. The first 3 kids were born out of a relationship, right? Sounds like she's in one now. And what I mean by that, born out of wedlock, born out of a marriage, they weren't appropriate. Didn't even sound like they were age appropriate. So definitely a tumultuous background. And then she goes on to talk about how if you're feeding them and they can eat and you're clothing them, that's all that a child really needs. And that's just not true. It's not true. And that needs to be spoken out loud. And the tough thing there, the coffee that no one wants to drink is also maybe I'm to blame. Yes, that's why kids are a heavy responsibility. And no one, not even myself, right? If my kid was to end up in a situation that was negative as a result of my own decision making and me not planning properly, then it would be tough to swallow that. But your children need more than broken homes. And she sounds like she wanted children. And I'll never stop stressing the fact that if you're either you're a man or a woman, and if you're having kids today, men not protecting your seed, women not protecting your wombs, and you're bringing children into this world who are a result of your bad decisions, then the responsibility lies in you. And if you're not in that place right now, then this is your example. This is your warning to protect yourself at all cost. Top comment here says, God bless you. Proud of you, though. Seem like a great mom. Keep taking care of you and them. Somebody else who says she has custody. Y'all worried about an aesthetic. Here's somebody else who says, someone failed you, but I can tell you're an amazing mom. Praying for you. Here's somebody else who says, a bunch of horrible decisions. That's the easiest way to answer this. Okay, so there's a contrary opinion there. We've got another brother who responded back to that guy and said, I ain't even trying to hate on her, but this comment is valid. Everyone else gassing her up is wrong. Well, this is what women do. This is why at the end of the day, I'm convinced more and more and more that without the proper guidance of a male who's not trying to get in your pants as a woman, then you're most likely going to make some terrible decisions when it comes to your future partners and building a family. I honestly do believe that, because when women look at the situation, it's tough for them to, because I get it, right? You're looking, you feel bad. I get it. I understand. And it is sad, right? How is this going to affect her mentally? That's the question. Well, she's a grown adult who decided to get online and share her story. I'm not here to say she shouldn't continue doing what she's doing. I think that this is great that she's getting her life together. However, with that, there needs to be a very honest conversation about how this right here is far from the standard that any person should be trying to reach. But real quick, guys, I want to take a moment to celebrate a milestone. We very quickly hit over 100 reviews on fathershaverights.com, where I offer soon-to-be married men, currently engaged men, free legal information when it comes to protecting yourself legally using a prenuptial agreement. I offered the guide. In fact, for the past close to a year or so, it's been free and available to anyone who wants access to it. And I wanted a few of you to review it. The goal was 100 reviews, and for every person who left a review, I'm sending you your free coffee pod mug. Yes, the same one I use right here. It's a controversial mug. It's a real controversial mug, but it's amazing. It's beautiful, and it's coming your way. If you put your email in there, we're going to make sure we follow up with you and get your shipping details, and we'll send that to you. Here's an example from somebody who left a really amazing review. He says, agreement guide was a game changer for me. The guide broke everything down in a way that was easy to understand. Even for someone like me with no legal background, it helped me feel confident and informed before taking such an important step. Knowing my rights and having a clear plan gave me peace of mind. I'm really grateful for how straightforward and supportive the information was. Definitely worth checking out if you're thinking about a prenup. It was really cool to see people also who've been enrolled into the actual guide leave reviews, because these are people who actually use the guide because this is something I wish I had, right? When I was looking into how to put a prenup together, you find out that there's nothing out there like this at all. And most attorneys, they hope that you have little to no information on this, because they make more money when you go in there with more questions, because they bill you based on the amount of time they spend with you. But guys, I have more good news. I've decided to extend it to 50 more reviews in exchange for 50 free mugs. And if you go, click the link pinned to the top of the comment right now. Yes, everybody who left their review will get their mug. Again, strictly 50 more reviews. I just encourage you to make sure you stick to the topic of the actual guide itself. And by the way, not all the reviews are actually visible. There is like a short pending process for some of the reviews. I don't know why the company that we go through does that. But I thank you guys so much. And don't forget to capitalize on your opportunity to get yourself a free mug in exchange for a review. And real quick, guys, to this subscriber right here, bro, amazing review. I don't know why it didn't register as your name. I've been trying to find your email name. If you had difficulties, it's all fixed. Please head down there and do me a favor and do it one more time. I have something special for you as well, in addition to that mug. Once again, guys, I appreciate every last one of you that helped us reach this milestone. Hit that link. Do not wait. Let's get back into our topic.
At first, I thought she was joking, but she's serious. 26 with 6 kids and 1 on the way. 26 with 6 kids and one on. You like it, I love it.
All right, so this woman chimed in and caught a lot of heat. She caught a lot of heat. Let's check out a few comments here. People responding back. This top comment says, it's someone on here, 23, with 6 kids and is doing amazing. I don't know. Everyone don't want a small family. Some dream of having a big family. If it's not your cup of tea, keep scrolling. Here's another commenter who says, 26 with 4. You made this video for... So all the single mothers and those who are in her situation seem to be responding back. Here's somebody else who says, why does it matter? It's her life. Listen, guys, this is why I say you can't lose your mind trying to correct people's perspective who aren't inclined to wanting to drink coffee, right? And what do I mean by that? There are a lot of people out here who this video right now is what they needed to decide and just be more careful. Just this video right now. And also her video, right? They just needed somebody to shift their vantage point just a little bit for them to start thinking of things differently. To the people who sit there and they understand, you know, they hear all the rebuttals to like, why wouldn't you want to be in this situation? And, you know, marry before you carry. The people who come at you and they will argue you to death. You just have to allow nature to take its course. And the thing about nature is it will take its course. Here's another person who says, I'm 25 with 6 kids, wouldn't trade it for nothing. Are you serious? Hold on, we're going to have to do some deep dives. I mean, this makes sense. Look at that door. I mean, all the attributes are there. I mean, what do you do with this? I mean, guys, am I wrong? And this is me I'm not here trying to make fun of people who may be in a bad situation, but I will say this. There is another perspective. Again, we're talking about perspectives here. Have you ever thought that once you have 6+ kids on your own, then things like your environment, things that you should be fixing around you, having a healthy place to stay, become difficult? Let's keep reading. Here's somebody else who says there's 2 other creators with 6 under 6. That's 26. They're with no judgment. Another commentator says anyone who makes being a mother their entire life goal doesn't know themselves and is lost. I don't know about that. Somebody else who says she need a hobby other than hunting. Yeah, this is sad. And so this female content creator who took an opposing stance responded back to this commenter who says, okay, they're here now. What's the judgment for? Let's listen.
Are you actually being serious? Like, are you being sincere with what you're saying right now? Why the judgment? Because people shouldn't be doing that. That's unacceptable. Like, are y'all serious? They're here now. Yeah, those poor kids.
She said, yeah, those poor kids. Why is that unacceptable? Are you guys listening to these comments? It's unbelievable that this right here is a real question that somebody could sit there and ask, why is what we just saw unacceptable? That is like, hey, I don't see anything wrong with what we just saw. Here's somebody else who says, literally, those poor kids, look at that home. Somebody else who says, especially in this economy. So she responded back to yet another commenter who says, it does because we're judging, but not helping in any form. I'm not putting my mouth on people when I didn't know them. I have 2 kids, 1 on the way, and have my sister. Because my mom died, that's 4 kids at 26. All right, let's listen to what she had to say in response.
It does because we're judging and not helping in any form. Why isn't she helping? Why is she still having kids? Why is she pregnant right now? If she needs help with the kids she already has, why is she pregnant right now? And this other part, it feels like you're projecting your own experience when she has double the amount of kids that you have. Talking about you have 2 kids, 1 on the way, and then you have your sister because your mom passed away. So that's 4. One of them you didn't give birth to and get pregnant with. She has double. She's had 8 kids it will be, including the one that passed away. And you're saying it's not your place to judge? Please stop it. It absolutely is. And maybe after this kid, you don't have any more either.
All right. That was her response right there. Top comment says, I don't think you read your Bible. It's say to be fruitful and multiply. Bro, what? I love that you are giving her more recognition than silence, because in the end, she will win. In the mighty name of Jesus. Legit speechless. Legit speechless. Put that coffee down. Somebody else here says, why would we help with someone else's child or children? Like, are people serious? Well, as a Christian, we should help, right? Follow me here. That's not me saying you should go out and deplete your resources, right? And help. Even if you look at the Bible, the way they helped out was amongst each other. They helped people amongst each other, not divided by race. No, it was people who identified as Christians. Didn't mean they didn't help people who weren't Christians. A lot of churches, they worked like communities. However, the Bible also says that the poor you shall always have with you. And this is why it's really important to read your Bible. What does that mean? It means that you will always have people who are poor. So that tells you what? That tells you that that's not this. God didn't come here to make every person financially stable. It's tough. Why? Because some people, based on the fact that he's given us the wonderful free gift of choice, will choose to be their own worst enemy. However, with help, if you feel so compelled, comes chastening, correction, because the Bible also says that God corrects those who he loves. So it's not just about like, don't make a plan, go out and just follow instructions. No. Somebody else here says, people collect kids like Pokemon cards as if each and every one doesn't need full-time love and attention. Siblingship does not count. They need guidance and encouragement. Do they not think of this? Yeah. I'm not against helping people who are in her situation. I'm really not. I do think that it needs to come with a different message. Here's somebody else who commented, because I wanted to be a mom. And so I think this person's answering, why did you have that many kids? I think she said she had like hella kids or something like that. I want to raise them up in a positive, loving environment and put more kind humans into this world. Why not? So again, unbelievable justifications here for what we just saw. Let's see what she responded with.
Because you want to put more humans into the world. Why? Why would that ever be a motive for why you would have kids, to put more people on this planet as if we don't have more than enough? You want to be a mom? Fine. More people on this planet? Girl, please. Because you want to.
I think like when it comes to the context, then this makes absolutely no sense, right? Because you can look, and there are people, I know Elon Musk, even though I disagree strongly with the single mothers and the broken households he's created, I know he has talked about having kids because we have a population decline. But, we know this isn't that serious. Like that was an excuse and not an actual real reason. Even in his situation, there you could say, and this is not a justification because the kids still miss out on a present father. You could say that at least those kids are financially taken care of to an extent. However, that's not an excuse to create broken homes. That is my very strong opinion. She responded back and says, 27 with 5. Okay, so she's 27 with 5. Married at 18, stay-at-home mom. I think this was the first comment. I read these backwards, guys. My bad. All accounts are joint, and my husband puts money into my retirement account. We make over $100K a year. Second-time homeowners before the age of 30. Never judge somebody. So this is what she says.
Girl, please. Y'all aren't even living remotely the same life.
Right.
And $100K a year ain't shit with that many kids. No.
This is true. This is true. I've done this many times. You know, I've asked you guys, especially like in a place here like California, to raise a child up. And no one ever does like the math, right? You just go through the hardship and you realize like, damn, things are expensive. No one sits down and actually asks the tough questions. Luckily, we have Miss Coffee. Miss Coffee, how much does it cost to raise 6 kids, put them through school and college? Actually, 6.5 kids, because that's actually 7. She's pregnant. In, let's say, a place like California. Of course, I'm picking an expensive place where I live, so I think this would be interesting. Our AI assistant barista, Miss Coffee, is about to answer.
Whew. Big family energy, respect. Let's break this down based on real numbers and your California location, one of the most expensive states to raise a family in.
Miss Coffee just said, big family energy, respect. Yo, even the AI thinks this is nuts.
You said 6.5 kids, soon to be 7. Let's estimate how much it costs to raise a child from birth to age 18. Pay for their K-12 education if private. Send them to college. Cost to raise child. According to recent USDA and updated regional data, in California, the cost to raise a child to is roughly, includes food, housing, healthcare, transportation, clothing, etc. So for 7 kids, $2.1 million, $2.45 million, just to raise them to 18. If you're factoring in private K-12, the average tuition in CA is approximately $20,000 a year per child. 13 years of school equal to $260,000 per child. For 7 kids, $1.82 million, on top of the base cost of raising them.
All right, guys, I realize she's rambling here. Here's the final thoughts. It says, final thought. Raising 7 kids in California through college would cost you anywhere between $3.3 million to $6 million, depending on the choices you make around education. Now, California is like a very, I'd say one of the most expensive states, but I guarantee you the numbers aren't that flattering in another state. And you may say, well, what if they don't go to college? Okay, but don't you want your kids to go to college? And I mean, like, don't you want them to have the option if they wanted to be able to go to college? That's a better question there, right? All right, so this next comment here says, I understand, but we're not helping the kids by making videos about the mom. I promise you the mom feels it and the kids do too. This is where like the delusion kind of gets taken to another level, because when you record videos about your children, you have to understand that those videos are going on a public platform. And on public platforms, people have very public opinions that may differ from yours.
I feel like y'all are not being serious. I feel like y'all are being extremely disingenuous to talk about, oh, Mimi making my video about her isn't helping the kids. She's not helping the kids. And we're talking about, oh, she feels it and the kids feel it. Why do the kids feel it? Because she keeps laying down to have more of them.
And shout out to this chick. Her name is Tori Greer 23. That's TORIGRIER 23. This next female commentator says, some people have the desire to have big families. Okay, so this is the chick who is saying they have the desire to have big families, right, as a justification.
Go to bed and wake back up, because what you're saying is garbage. Maybe you didn't get enough sleep, because talking about, oh, because it's not your norm, that shouldn't be anybody's norm. That's not normal. To keep having kids while living in squalor, to keep having kids when you have beach towels and sheets as your curtains, to keep having kids when you can't even keep your house clean. No, that shouldn't be anybody's normal, and it damn sure shouldn't be those kids' normal.
But guys, that's everything. In conclusion, I think that the best you can do today is, if you have children of your own, is try to educate them about the dangers of having children before they're ready, and do your best to make sure that you provide them with a 2-parent household if you're trying to have children. I think the goal of trying to change people's minds who are just hell-bent on setting themselves up for failure and their future generations. You know, you can only go back and forth with people who are hell-bent to do that, because you can't change their actions, right? You can try, but you can't make them make better decisions. Guys, of course, I'm curious to know what you think. Moving on. So this is an insane story, and I mean crazy. What you're looking at with the thousands of people who are at this, I believe it's a Tyler Creator concert, is a proposal take place. What's actually happening here, and the history behind the man you see there and the woman that you see, has now become a viral story of different women coming out of the woodworks, exposing this man for what's now being called the engagement swindler. Right. Now, of course, it's like a play on the Twitter swindler character, but the story's insane. Let's keep watching. Okay, so that's that, right? And what happens? Of course, the video goes viral. People are like, oh, it's so beautiful, this, and that. And out of nowhere, boom, come a bunch of exposing videos. But first, let's read a few of these comments. Top comment here says, who is here from the woman that said she used to be friends with him and that he is still married? Whoa. Somebody else here says, girl, wait. Now I need the tea. Now, you see, this is the actual person who posted this video. They were just a random person at the concert, and ended up realizing that, oh, they just captured a viral moment here of someone who's about to get exposed. This, if you are in a happy relationship, and let me not even use that word, if you're in a relationship where you're not going through hell, you should realize that the dating market right now is hell, and you should just stay married and stay in your relationship, right? If you're not dealing with chronic cheating and abuse and all that, you might want to work it out if it's something you can work out, because this shit is insane. Somebody else here says she knows something is off. Somebody else here added, who is here from the red flag video? Okay, so then this came out next following that video. Check it out.
I know the man in this video, and when I met him, he told me his name was Caleb. 2.5 years later, I find out that he has at least 6 kids by many different women, and I ended up being number 7. So I will be putting together a series of videos of my experience with him and how I took my power back.
Now, listen, to my guys, we're not about to sit through that whole series. Trust me. I'm going to do my best to quickly go through this, and not because, I know the chicks, they love the long story times and this and that. But, as a guy watching this, here's the thing I took from this whole situation. Number one is how easily these chicks get tricked when they do not have male guidance. And I know it starts to sound, some people don't like that, but male guidance helping you. Because when you hear the type of stuff that she kind of just lets slide, this lady in the comment section here says they can never get rid of the damn app. Somebody else here says not Legion 2.0. Of course, they're talking about the lady who found out that she was dating somebody who was like a compulsive liar. His name was Legion. Somebody else here says his hair's fake, it grew fast, blah, blah, blah. And so what happened next? Well, what happened next is that yet another woman came out.
Hey, yo, I'm here to tell you, if you saw that viral video of that light-skinned them fake reds proposing to his lady at the Tyler the Creator concert in Atlanta. Yeah, that still married. He been married for years. If anybody know that lady that he's proposing to, let her know to run. This is a scammer, is a thief, this nigga is a lie. You know how I know? I used to be friends with this, but I found out who he really was when we stopped being friends. I know.
Just friends? Just friends? I didn't say anything. I'm just asking a question. Just friends?
3 of his ladies because we were friends for so long. Please, if you know that lady in Atlanta, Georgia, tell her to run. This is what he does. He is literally the black Tinder swindler. So, yeah, run.
All right, so top comment here says, I felt like he proposed at the concert for attention to, haha. Somebody else here added, there's a lady named Millie about to expose him. She said she has a child with him. That's horrible, right? Imagine. And you know, there are guys who look at this and be like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? The measure that I use to determine whether a man leans towards being toxic and overall just bad for society, and I do mean for society as in like the upcoming generation, is number one, how many children is he producing that lack guidance? Like, what are the fruits of that person? Because there's nothing more obvious than your children. They are the fruits of who you are, right? Number one is that. And 2 is, would I want my daughter, you know, a child I have, to grow up and marry somebody just like that? If it's no on both those ends, then I'm like, yeah, that's a toxic man. So guys, we have another chick here who says, when you realize the narcissist psychopath you almost married moved to Atlanta, plus is still on that bullshit. And so this is the chick, apparently, right, who also
anyways.
who also almost got married to him. And that leads me to my first conclusion in this whole situation is, I'm starting to think marriage is a lot like sex to women. Is they are so desperate. Modern women today are so desperate to marry and desperate to get proposed to, because men aren't rushing to get married, that the idea of a man marrying them will blind them from the red flags that they see. They already don't drink coffee.
No, I'll have a tea actually.
They already don't drink the thing that will fix your eyes and mind to see and think straight. But on top of all that, you tell them, hey, I plan to marry you. That's like telling a dude you're going to give him the cheeks. Most guys who lack sexual discipline, their ears perk up and they start thinking with the wrong head. So what we have right here is the first chick, and she's giving her account on how she ended up having this guy's kid.
Hey, yo, I'm here to tell you, if you saw that viral video of that light-skinned, them fake dreads proposing to his lady at the Tyler, the Creator concert in Atlanta, yeah, that nigga still married. He been married for years. If anybody know that lady that he's proposed.
This video is for the young woman who just got engaged at the Tyler, the Creator concert in Atlanta, Georgia.
We're going to have to speed this up. All right, let's go here. Where are we going to go? We're going to do, let's try 1.5.
And I did try to warn her. However,
might be too much.
If anybody know that lady that he's proposed.
Hold on. All right.
This video is for the young woman who just got engaged at the Tyler, the Creator concert in Atlanta, Georgia. And I did try to warn her however I could, because at the time I didn't even know who she was. And especially this last month, it's been really heavy on my heart. I've been thinking about her often because I'm so scared and worried about her. And when someone warned me about him, I was 5 months pregnant. And I just couldn't, like, it was too much. So I would reach out to her directly, but I know what happened when someone directly reached out to me. And so this isn't the way that I would like for it to be done, but I feel like this is the only way to stop him. and he was talking to her while he was still with me. I know that for a fact. So this next part will be the start of my story of what happened to me when I met him, and the 2.5 years that I was with him. So this is the engagement swindler. And just to all the women out there who've ever been in an abusive relationship, just know that you can get out of it. You can. Like, even if you went so far down the rabbit hole and you're just like not even feeling like you can get out, like you can. Even if you have nothing, like you can escape and you can restart your life, because that's what I basically had to do. So thank you for everyone that will be watching.
All right, so that's that. Then she uploaded part 2 here. Let's check it out.
If you guys saw the guy that proposed to his girlfriend at the Tyler, the Creator concert in Atlanta, Georgia, that is my ex. So this is the engagement swindler, how I ran for my life and took back my power. I met him December 7th of 2020 during COVID on this dating app called B+. I'm curvy, so I was like, well, if I go on this app, like I for sure should meet someone that likes curvy women. So he ends up hitting me up, and I was a little hesitant at first because he just looked like, you know, I mean, he's a pretty boy. Like, he's 6'5", had like orange eyes, light skin, like not really my go-to because I prefer chocolate men. So I didn't really entertain it. And then he ends up hitting me up again, and he's like 6'5", no ladder needed. And so I happened to be, I was like on my roof of my house putting Christmas lights on the house. I love Christmas. I love putting lights on the house. Like, I go all out, inside and out. So I thought that was cute. I was like, oh, that's a cute line, you know? And I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe I will entertain it. Because you know how they say, like, sometimes your person is not your go-to, like someone you would normally date. So I was like, well, I'm open because I really want to meet someone. Maybe like 4 months prior, I had written in my journal about exactly like the type of guy that I wanted and to meet. And so I was really like intentionally dating.
So he said 6'5", no ladder needed, and that was like a good pickup line to her. Let's keep listening.
So we end up like talking, and we agreed to meet up. So I'm really excited because I was like just praying. I was like, God, I just want to meet my person. Like, I'm ready to settle down, start a family. Like, I worked for myself. Like, I built it, you know, to a certain point. And I was like, okay, God, like, I'm ready. Like, I have the time. Like, I'm ready to meet someone. So we end up, no, I had to go to Sonoma County because my friend had just gotten engaged. So we agreed to meet up when I was on my way back down, since I had to pass through LA. So I get over there, and it was like at a like Starbucks, like a shopping center that had like a Starbucks in it. And so he ended up not showing up. So I'm thinking like, okay, like I couldn't get a hold of him, couldn't call him. And I was like, well, maybe he got tied up at work or something happened. So he ends up like apologizing, and you know, we're chit-chatting and we're still trying to like meet up. But again, it's like during COVID, so it's like hard to do that. So we also agreed that we needed both to get tested to make sure, you know, we were good to go for the safety of the people like, you know, in our households. And so we both had gotten tested, and we tested negative.
So she's talking about COVID.
And so I was like, well, hey, like I made a peach cobbler. I'm from Oklahoma. I make peach cobbler like from my grandma's recipe. And you know what they say is the key to a man's heart is through his stomach. So I was like, hey, I made a peach cobbler. Like, I'm going to be in LA. Like, you know, can we meet? And so he was like, yeah, we can meet. And then he said he would let me know when he was available. So I already had made my way out there. So it was kind of late. It was probably like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And mind you, like, he lives like 2 hours from where my house is. So we end up meeting up at that parking lot, and he pulls up in an Audi. And I'm like, okay, like this matched what he put in his profile about the income that he made. And so, you know, I pull up my Benz, and, you know, he ends up getting out of the car. And I turn around to get like peach cobbler out of the car, and you know, he's looking at the donk, he's looking. So I was like, okay, like he's attracted. And so I give him the peach cobbler. We're like chit-chatting a little bit, not really about anything. And then we were at that parking lot for maybe like half an hour. And then, you know, we talked about like trying to see each other again, and that he would like come out to Orange County.
Hey, more proof that when a woman is really feeling you, not only will she accept getting stood up at a date, but she will agree to meeting you in a parking lot. Oh, man.
And so I was like, perfect, just let me know. So he get back in the car, you know, we leave. And so that following week, we ended up meeting up. Mind you, during this time, like, we haven't really had any phone conversations. He made up some story that his aunt was visiting and he wasn't able, like, to get out, and he had to wait until she left or something like that. And then he sent me a picture of him and, like, a little chihuahua, saying that it was his aunt's dog. So I'm like, oh, how cute, because obviously I work with animals. So he ends up coming out to my house, and I think I did cook, but we didn't end up eating anything. And so he was only at my house for maybe, like, within the first, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour. He literally had just gotten there and sat down, like, at my bar area. And so he pulls me close to him and he starts kissing me. And so, you know, obviously we're both attracted. And so he leads me, like, dragging me, like, straight to the bedroom. And it went down. It did. It went down. It was fun. It wasn't vanilla. Like, I was hooked. So, and it was also unprotected. I know.
So in case you're not following, man was clapping the cheeks after a date at the parking lot. The second date, he was clapping the cheeks. Raw. Right? Raw. And that is kind of crazy. But it happens all the time. You have to protect yourself out here. Craziness. Craziness. Craziness.
I know. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I know. I just felt like I could trust him for some reason. So now I'm, like, really, like, into him because I'm a very, like, monogamous person. And so I'm an ambivert, but mostly an introvert, and I don't like to serial date at all. Like, it's too much for me. So when I like someone, I like you, and I focus on you, and I really want to get to know you. And so he was supposed to come over again because I made dinner. And he was supposed to come over for dinner and, you know, spend some time with me, and he was a no-show. And so I got super pissed. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, I feel so stupid. Like, I just had, like, unprotected sex with you, and I don't even know you, and I need to go get tested to make sure you didn't give me anything, and all this stuff. And then he ends up texting me, I don't know, like, so late, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And he said that he had gotten pulled over by the cops because it was a curfew in LA, and that he was sitting on the sidewalk for like 4 hours or something like that. And I'm like, are you okay? I was so worried, but so relieved that he, like, finally texted me. And so I'm like, are you okay? Like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened to you. Like, he was like, yeah, when they ran the plates and saw, you know, my license plate and who I was. And I'm thinking, like, who you are, okay. But I don't really know people like that. Like, I don't look up people. If you're, like, in Hollywood and stuff, like, I don't really know, you know, I don't keep tabs on people like that, so I wouldn't know. So I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy you're okay. Like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And so then I felt better, right? And I was like, we need to get tested. Like, I didn't like that, so I'm getting tested, and you need to get tested before, like, we get together again. And so he told me we get tested. So he, on his profile, it said that his name was Caleb. It said that his name was Caleb. The dog is moving the table up and down. Okay, baby, down, down. Good job. So it said that his name was Caleb.
Right.
And I did do, after he stood me up like that, I did do a background check on him. So I did a background check on him, and I couldn't find his name anywhere. I couldn't find it. So I'm like, that's weird. Like, the only Caleb's, and then he gave me his mom's last name that I could find were Caucasian men. So I was like, why can't I find him? This is weird. This is part 1. I will post part 2 after.
Okay. So far, by the second date, he's hitting raw. She's heads over heels, right? She obviously enjoyed it. And now she's messed up in the head. Can't think straight. He's telling bold-faced lies that she's believing. And then she said, you know, I'm a monogamous woman, and I don't do that. And that makes me laugh because I know that's like the go-to for a lot of chicks. They're like, I'm not even like that, but you are, because you did. You are because you did. And there's nothing, you know, it's tough to admit the truth, but everyone's been there, you know. But I know a lot of women like to kind of like excuse themselves, and I'm not like that, but you are, because you did. Anyways, that's besides the point. Lastly, again, guys, this is why I say there's a lot of lies here, that if she would have just reached out to any man who had any type of game and was willing to be honest, like be honest, and he's not trying to get into her pants. Maybe that's a tough thing, right? That's why you need a father. That's why you need a healthy father. A healthy father. You're supposed to have men you can bounce stuff off, and they say, no, he's lying to you. You're getting played. Let's check this out.
Okay, I'm still working. Almost done. Okay, so, I asked him if he got tested, and he told me, so I got my test results back, and he told me that because he was in the military, that he had to do mandatory, checkups or something, like every 3 months, and one of them was like for STDs. Why did I believe that? I mean, I've dated military guys. I ain't never heard of that. I believed everything that he said. It just, because, like, I'm not a liar. I'm, like, overly honest, okay?
Because he was clapping your cheeks. And when you're hitting it right with women, they believe you. They believe you. They want to believe you. You can sell them any type of dream. And the chicks who know this and will be honest will agree, right?
People don't like that. Some people don't like that about me. I'm overly honest. So I can't fathom that this dude is, like, lying to me. Because who would go to such extents to lie? Like, it's wild. I was just like, oh, okay. So anyway, so he would come over, and he would only come for maybe like 2 hours. We would like do it, and then he would leave. And then I was like, why do you only come for like, no, he would only come for like an hour. And so I asked him, I said, why do you only come for an hour and you leave so fast? Like, and then he said, oh, well, I come from so far away. It ends up taking a total of like 4.5 hours. So that's why, and I have to get back, like, I have work to do or something like that. So I was just like, oh, okay. Stupid. So dumb. I don't know. Y'all gonna talk so bad about me. I was in my bubble. Like, I'm one of those people, I was sheltered growing up, and I just stayed in like my little bubble. Like, I was very naive, and it never crossed my mind that he was just lying to me. It just didn't. So I have bought scooters, and you know, it's COVID, so you know, there's a lot of eating like outside, and where I live, there's like a downtown area with like a lot of restaurants. So we would ride the scooters to restaurants and have a good time. And I had a neighbor that I've known for a long time, and I remember he saw us like kissing in the common, like the garage area or the driveway, and because we were living in a duplex. So he never like said hi to him, or he probably got a weird feeling about him. He really probably did, but that should have been a sign. I just thought he was being rude. Like, okay, he's being rude, but no, I think he had like a bad feeling about him. So anyhow, okay, so you guys, I'm sorry, it's like the story is so.
Bro, I'm so glad I speed this up. Should I speed this up more? We can try. I think that's too fast.
So much. So my birthday. So I'm a Capricorn. My birthday's in January. Capricorn, right? So I was 34, about to turn 35, and I invited him to Big Bear, and I was like, you know, I want to go to Big Bear for my birthday, because I usually always go somewhere for my birthday, and it's COVID, so I mean, I have to do something local. So I was like, you know, would you want to go with me? And he was like, yeah, I would love to go to Big Bear with you. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Like, I'll book the Airbnb. We're boycotting Airbnb right now, but at the time, right? So anywho, time is coming for him to, for us to go on the trip. And I told him, I said, you know, if you want me to, like, I can come pick you up and we can head to Big Bear like that way, because I had a truck and I was gonna take my truck up there because of the snow. So, I had like a Tundra. Well, yeah, I had a Tundra. So anywho, so he was like, okay, yeah, sure. But then literally the morning of, he changed it up and said, it's okay, you don't have to come here. I'm gonna come to you. I was like, okay, well, I mean, that works, and we can leave. Because I think Orange County is closer than where they were at in the valley. Anywho. So
right.
I was just like, okay, but then that spidey sense, like, he don't want me going over to his house. But then it's also COVID. So, but it's not like I needed to go in. I could just been in the driveway and just he jumped in the car. But I did have that, like, right? Like, that's, like, it's almost like he didn't want me to come over at all. So, so we go to Big Bear, have a great time. He parked his Audi in my, driveway, and we head to Big Bear for the weekend. So, my birthday falls on MLK weekend always. So, we're up there having a great time and watching like anime, because he's like super major into anime, and I'm also a little bit of a fan of anime. Like I was into like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. I used to draw it. So you know, he wanted to introduce me to the show that he watched called Bleach. So we mainly kind of just watched anime and, you know, had some fun and you know, just ate and just kind of locally. So nothing was really weird about that weekend, but except for we went hiking. We went on like a little hike, and he does these different voices that crack me up. He could do like Elmo, like actually for my son's birthday.
Is she still in love? She's like, this man was amazing. Ah, man.
I had him dress up as Elmo, and he did the Elmo voice. And so he has like all these different characters that he could do, and the mess would just crack me up. I love to laugh. I love to laugh. Like I love that he was like goofy and silly. So he would get free stuff, especially when he used his British accent. He would get, I was amazed. I was like, oh my God, like how do you just get free things? Like people just give you stuff for free. And so we were kind of hiking, and then he asked me this question. He goes, so like, you know, if you had to do like go down the red carpet, like would you be comfortable doing that? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess so, you know. He was like, okay, well, you know, I have a red carpet event coming up, and you know, so I just want to know if that's something that you'd be interested in. And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like that's exciting. Like a red carpet event in Hollywood, like okay. And so we left from there and went back up to the cabin. And so he's sitting on the bed, and I'm looking at him like he had a white beater on. So I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at his arms. He has all these tats, and I'm looking, and I'm like, he has tattoos of different people's names on his arm. And I was like, who is this? I'm not gonna say his kids' names, but who is this kid, or who is this name? Like, who's this one to have 80 footprints?
Dun, dun, dun.
And he was like, oh, I thought I told you. I'm like, no. And he was like, yeah, that's my oldest son. And I'm like, you told me you only had one kid, a daughter. And he was like, oh no, I thought I told you. I said, no, you didn't tell me. He was like, oh, I thought I did. Looking some more. There's another name on his arm with the birth date. And I was like, well, who is this one? A girl's name. And it wasn't the daughter that he had told me about. And he goes, oh, I thought she was my daughter, but when I was away and when I got deployed to Afghanistan and I was away, I found out that she cheated on me and that she really wasn't my daughter. And I was like, oh my God. Because I'm thinking, like, why would he deny his kids? Because he has their names, like, tattooed on his body. Like, he tattoos his kids' names on his body. So why, with the birth date and everything. So why would I think that he would, like, make up a story, right, about this kid who's half Mexican, half black, right? He's mixed with a bunch of stuff, but she's basically half Mexican, half black. Why would I think he was lying about that?
Every day, and this is going to sound so bad. This is going to sound so bad. Every day I see just how gullible women are. I think this sounds so bad. And you know, I've had honest conversations. I'm like, God, did we get set up in that Garden of Eden? Did we get set up? Like, what did we get set up? And of course, I don't believe that. I really don't. It makes the whole Eve getting deceived by the serpent all that more plausible. Right? And it makes me, again, lead to the conclusion that women need men for guidance. I know that's like controversial, misogyny to say, but the whole husband, head of household, wife, I hear stories like this. I'm like, it makes sense. You know, the same way that women and wives and are great at other things that don't come so naturally to men, right?
This is part 3. We will continue to part.
All right. So on this next part, it's like a long video. I'm not going to play this entire thing just because I know it's getting kind of long. You know, this is not a chick channel after all. I'm going to have our AI system, Ms. Coffee, give us the summary of this specific video. Ms. Coffee, could you please summarize this video right here that I'm looking at, just so we can have like a quick summary of what exactly she's talking about?
Main summary, no nonsense breakdown.
Okay.
Here's the short version. He denies one daughter because she didn't look like him, blames a protective cult for barring him from another child, and claims he's never had social media but wants to be an actor. Meanwhile, she's juggling a racist neighbor, a background check that turns up nothing, and this growing feeling something's off. The final straw? He calls from Colorado in a panic, admitting he's got a bombshell confession right after telling her his name might not be what she thinks. Talk about suspicious.
Huh. What is the cult thing about? What do you mean, a child that's being kept by a cult?
He claims the mother of his oldest son is part of a Jehovah's Witness family he describes as cult-like and living in a secluded compound. According to his story, these relatives supposedly use their influence, maybe even legal protection, to keep him from contacting or visiting his son. And that's why he hasn't been involved in the boy's life. Essentially, he's painting a picture where his child is out of reach because the mother's family is controlling and won't allow him near.
And so just to get this straight, he's claiming that the two kids who are tatted on his body, he has no access to.
He has multiple children's names tattooed on his body, at least a daughter and an oldest son. Despite that, he claims, the daughter isn't his biological child because he supposedly caught the mother cheating and decided the child didn't look like him. His oldest son is allegedly kept from him by the mother's Jehovah's Witness family, which he describes as cult-like and overly controlling. So yes, he's saying 2 of the kids whose names are inked on him are now basically off limits, one due to paternity doubts, and the other because of a cult barrier.
All right. And it sounds like he got decided that whole paternity thing himself. All right, there we go. Quick version. All right, moving on. So this next part's actually a little bit shorter. Here, I guess he's talking about a shocking confession he had to make to her. Let's keep listening.
Okay. So this is part 5. Part 5. So he called me so I call him after I'm done working. So I give him a call and he's like acting nervous and I'm like, just tell me whatever it is you have to say. And then he goes, okay, so my name is not Caleb. What? Yeah, my name is not Caleb. And I'm like, okay. And so, mind you, this is like February the 1st. I believe. Yeah. Or the 2nd, maybe. No, he went out there on the 1st. I think this is February the 2nd. So he gives me the name of a website or the URL of a website. And he's like, okay,
right.
well, on your phone, like type in this website. And I said, okay. And then I'm just going to say the first part of the website was Byron. Something.com. Okay. So I type in the website and it's him. And he has like this profile picture with his like hat. And he goes, it's basically like a biography of him, a bio of himself. And so it said that he was a veteran. And I can't remember, but I don't think I knew that he was a veteran. So, it said that he was, no, I did know. I did know that he was a veteran, but he was a Marine before. I did know that part. So anyway, so it said that he was a veteran and that he was an actor and I don't know, like whatever it is that he put on the bio. So I go, okay, so your name is Byron, not Caleb. And he goes, right, yeah, my name is Byron. Why would you lie about that? Why would you lie about your name?
Right.
So he goes, well, I was in a high-profile relationship with a celebrity's daughter, and we had broken up, and we've been broken up for a year. Because I asked him, how long have you guys broken up? And he said a year. And I'm like, okay, I'm confused, but so I'm assuming that's who your roommates were. And he was like, yeah, we were living in her parents' back house. So you guys broken up for a year, but you're still living there. He was like, yeah, because of COVID, so I had to move in. And then something happened like with her dad. He had a stroke. And then we definitely couldn't tell the family that we weren't engaged anymore. And it was just a lot. And so I was just like, he was like, yeah, so I just had to he basically told me that he just had to be careful. And that's why he had to give me a fake name. And in my head, I was like processing it, but then I'm like talking to myself, like trying to rationalize it. Like, I guess that makes sense.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I can understand that. Like, I can understand why you had to give me a fake name because you're in a high profile relationship with a celebrity's daughter and you guys had to be careful because of the media and blowback or whatever. I literally, it didn't matter what he was going to tell me, as you guys can see. Like, I was determined because I didn't need him. No, like, I'm an independent, woman. I'm doing my thing. Like, I didn't need him, but I wanted him. And because I wanted him, and I was like, I'm the type of person, like, I'm a tenacious person. Like, when I see something that I want, like, I go after it. And I'm like a pit bull, and I don't let go. I'm like, no, this is what I want, and I'm going to figure out how to get it. And so, I mean, I guess that's a part of the entrepreneurial spirit that I have. Like, that's just me. I've always been like that. So it didn't matter what he told me, because he told me what I needed to hear to like rationalize it and make it okay. So, but the problem was that I already told my mom about him. And now I'm gonna have to explain to my mom, because I was so excited about him. I'm like, this is the one, like, oh my God, like, it's like I've known him forever. Like, he's my person. Like, I know this is serious. Like, so I already told her. And so now I gotta explain why his name is no longer Caleb. Now I gotta explain that. And here are some photos. Oh my God, here's some photos. And then on to the next. I don't know how you guys do this on TikTok, because it is very...
Yo, it says occupation, sales, and marketing. Annual income, 75 to 150,000. Goes on to say height 6'5", body type muscular, religion Christianity, ethnicity black, have kids, yes, and they live away from home, and want kids, yes, someday. Smoking, never drinking casually. Okay.
Very time consuming. These videos take so long to upload, so I'm hoping that I can get through this without the videos being super duper long, as I know the max is like 10 minutes. But let me just go ahead and give you guys like my proof, what do you call it? The receipts, my receipts of everything. And then we're gonna talk about the fiance that he had. And so we're gonna talk about what I was going through, and in the back end, what was actually happening. Because, I mean, he didn't have roommates. He had a fiance that he was living with, and the roommates are her parents, like her family. Like, what? This is nuts. And you can't make this stuff up. Like when it's like when people tell you these crazy stories, it's hard to believe because it's just that crazy. Like, who would make this stuff up? It's like a Tyler Perry movie. Like, who would make this stuff up? It's like almost unbelievable. And it's so insane that you're like, that can't be right. That can't be right. So, yeah.
Yep, this is where we tap out. Every woman, I believe, who's in a situation where you're in some complicated shit like this, you need a man to bounce ideas off of. A man who's not trying to get in your pants, to guide you on whether you're being swindled, right? They're calling this guy the engagement swindler. Because obviously, man, he was able to trick, like 5 chicks into being engaged with them. I don't know what happens. Maybe he I'm assuming because they say swindler, maybe uses them for money, right? Because the chick said scammer, so on and so forth. Of course, guys, I'm curious to know, what do you think of this situation? What do you think of everything you've heard so far? We're going to move on. Moving on.
Well, 3 teenage girls are in custody tonight after police say they plan to kill their own mother. And they say that it's all because their mom turned off the Wi-Fi. Yes,
you guys are hearing this right. This story's insane. These kids today are addicted to the internet. How can you try to take out your own mom all because she cut off the Wi-Fi? We're living in crazy times.
It happened overnight on Barker's Crossing near Barker Cypress in northwest Harris County. That's where we find Fox 26's Jade Fleury on this disturbing story. Jade.
Well, fortunately, the Harris County Sheriff's Office says that the teen's mom was not seriously injured after her own daughters tried to stab her with knives. And we spoke with some nearby neighbors who tell us that disturbances happen frequently at the family home.
They're known for that in this neighborhood. There's always cops around that house.
A family dispute turned violent. The Harris County Sheriff's Office says a mother was assaulted by her own teenage daughters for turning off the Wi-Fi. Authorities allege the girls then plotted to kill her. The 3 teens, ages 14, 15, and 16 years.
Wow. Those are babies.
Old, accused of grabbing kitchen knives and chasing their mom throughout the house and into the street. A nearby neighbor says they were returning from the rodeo when they saw the family in the driveway. Moments later, the homeowner and her sister heard yelling.
When she got back from the gas station, she says that there was cops outside. They've always, been known as like trouble in this neighborhood, and our neighbors tell us the same thing.
The mother was hit with a brick and the teen's grandmother knocked over while trying to intervene. Teens 14, 15, and 16 supposedly assaulting their mother because she turned off the Wi-Fi. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's so crazy. I mean, it just tells how much unstable that family is, and it's very sad for them.
And those 3 teens were arrested and charged with aggravated assault of a deadly weapon.
Good.
Reporting from Northwest Harris County, Jade Fleury, Fox 26 News.
Good. That's a good thing. Because it could have been a lot worse, right? They could have been successful, and hopefully they learn and realize the gravity of their decisions. This is insane. Let's read a few comments here. Top comment says, "I'll literally give custody up and go about my life." Somebody else here says, "It's not about race, it's the generation." Is it the generation? Somebody else here says, parents' generation. It's definitely not the parents' generation. It's something with the kids. I think people really minimize the problem that comes with unstable families, and they really minimize the results of the mental state of people within that household. Somebody else here says aggravated assault. That's literally attempted deletion. Y'all better stop letting them iPads raise your kids, because to be that addicted to the internet, it means that they were raised up on that. That is their life. They value the internet more than they value life itself, because they're about to literally delete their own mother.
You guys have heard about the 3 sisters that chased their mom out of the house with a knife because she turned off the Wi-Fi, right? Now, what I'm curious about is, do these girls know the implications of what they've done? Now, on the opposite side, as the parent, how do you move on from this? Like, do you say, hey, it's my kids, I forgive them, it was the heat of the moment? Or do you send them to the state, press charges, and get them locked up, change your name, and disappear them forever? See, I'm not a parent, but I know some parents are probably going to see this. So let me know, what do y'all think y'all would do in that situation? Because over the Wi-Fi, your kids are ready to take you out. How would you look at them after that?
That's a good question. Guys, comment down below. How would you view your kids if you're in this situation?
Would you move forward with them? And I know counseling and sitting down with them and talking it out might work, but I'd find that very difficult to trust them after that and go to sleep in that house. Because you're always going to be watching your back, because if they were ready for the Wi-Fi,
right,
what else would they go off about?
Right.
So let me know. What do y'all think about that?
I'll give my take real quick. I think it's one thing if this story was 1 kid out of 3 does something crazy. I think more people will be a lot more lenient on the mother. But I do think, including myself, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to look at this and be like, how did all 3 of you kids come out like that? Right? There's a role there that was played from the mom herself. Because all 3 of you kids were ready to stab you. Because the thing is, I've also seen videos of women talk about regretful parenting. They'll say, I hate my kids. Literally, I've made videos of mothers saying, I hate my children. And the more I accept that for some mothers, that's their reality and their opinion when it comes to motherhood, I'm like, what happens if this might be that situation, right? That's my angle. What happens when those kids grow up and you really didn't enjoy motherhood and you may actually dislike them or maybe even hate them? What happens? Could this be the worst case scenario in that type of dynamic in a household? Let's see what other people had to say. Top comment here says the state will have them because I am not going to be in my home sleeping with one eye open. Here's somebody else who says, I'm a mom and she created this situation before it ever happened. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Somebody else who says the consequences of soft parenting. Here's another person who says, as a parent, there's no forgiving, press charges. Here's somebody else who says they have to go, forgive them, and love them from a distance. Here's somebody else who says, as a parent, I'm signing over my rights. The law can have them. I will never feel comfortable sleeping in that house, and you not going to make me uncomfortable in my own home. And you know, it's different when those are actually your kids, right?
Every child run around acting like they can't live without Wi-Fi, but they actually try to take your mama out the game because of Wi-Fi. Is wild to me. Like, that's crazy word. These three sisters, not one, but three, all came together and tried to take their mama out the game by Wi-Fi. Like, the mama took the Wi-Fi from them, and they almost took her from the world. Listen, three of them, the mama said, you know, they wasn't listening. They being hard-headed, so she was going to take what they love. She unplugged the Wi-Fi and decided she was going to turn it off for a little bit. Them three sisters came together and went to charging at their mother with a knife. And people don't understand how hard it is to try to discipline these day children, because they act like every time you're disciplining them, anytime you put your foot down with them, anytime you're not giving them what they want, anytime they don't feel like you're going above and beyond for them, they act like their life is a Hell. They act like everybody against them. Oh, you hate them. And they got anxiety and they depressed, all because you're putting your foot down. Like, nowadays, if you not your child friend and kissing they butt to get along with them, they act like you the world's worst parent. And it sucks because a lot of moms out here doing it by themselves. But the fact that all three of her children tried to take her out the game by Wi-Fi, get them out my house.
That's the problem, though, right? That's what a father's there for. He's there to establish discipline. You will most likely always fail as a woman at establishing discipline within a household. What will happen typically is most likely you'll be too lenient on your children. And those of you who think, let me compensate and go hard, will go too hard. That's that. Of course, guys, I'm curious to know what you think. Moving on.
Just somebody locking me in the church talking about close the door because we trying to get $40,000. This is exactly why this next generation don't want to go to church right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at this shit. Listen to this. Doors. Close the doors.
So the caption here says, Marvin Sapp tells ushers to close the doors and no one could leave until they raise $40,000. What do you guys think of this?
Close the doors. Why are you talking about that? We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. And how you know that? There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is crazy, man. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 That's crazy. A lot of people ain't gonna like this. But Pastor, what you need $40,000 for? I know it's people in that congregation that probably ain't eating. It's people in that congregation that probably done came for help and couldn't get no help. And then he talking about lock the door like you're demanding. Oh, and if you ain't got it in your pocket, you could do it electronically. That's crazy. And this might go over a lot of y'all heads. But in our community, a lot of our people invest money in the church. And what does that get us? But in other communities, they invest money other places. They put their money in banks. They do X, Y, and Z. And where does that get them? Yeah, all right.
That's not true. And this is not me saying that Marvin Sapp there is doing right. I've been to both church. Guys, I grew up in the church. I grew up in the church heavily, different types of churches. I've been to, Filipino churches, Vietnam churches. I've been to many white churches too, and they do take tithe, right? They do take tithe.
I've been in churches. I done seen crooked pastors. I done seen righteous pastors.
That's true.
But money is money, and your money is your money, and my money is my money. Don't force me to give no money. And I heard people say, if pastor did that, then that mean they ain't giving. What if they ain't got it to give? Have you ever thought about that? I even heard somebody say, well, all they gonna do is blow it on food. You gotta eat, right? All I'm saying is, it's the way that you handle things. It's the way that you do things. It's the way that you request things. That was the wrong way.
All right, so first things first. Locking the doors is wrong. Or closing the doors and like trapping people in that sense. That's not cool. Right? And I've seen pastors do this. I've seen different churches kind of like guilt trip. This is tough though, because this is Marvin Sapp, and I'll be lying if I say there isn't some bias in me. When I hear that melody, it takes me back. Right? That never would have made it. Shh. Never would have made it without. Come on, man. Just brings back the melody of the food after. Because in my church, we did potlucks. You know, when that's playing, people are getting up, they're leaving, shaking hands. But yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to do.
To Marvin Sapp, you would have never made them $40,000 off of me. I guarantee you, you would have never made it. Okay, I would have told the whole congregation. As a matter of fact, that table that the Holy Communion sits on, that would have been all over your ushers if they wouldn't move out my damn way. Because what you mean, lock the doors? That's kidnapping. Since when do we got to pay you to preach? Like, I understand sowing the seed, but I seen somebody on there say, is the ground fertile? Because, yeah, what? I guarantee you would have saw everything that was wrong with me.
Never would. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, sure would have. Because absolutely not. I know God ain't wake your behind up and tell you to do that to them people. I know he didn't tell you. That was not part of the word. Okay, y'all, at this point, y'all making up your own Bible and words and shit. Because absolutely not. Yeah, I only take 4 quarters of church anyways because I don't understand why is it 6 offerings in one sermon. We haven't even ate yet. We on the 3rd offering? Absolutely not. Yeah, I take 4 quarters every time to my give from the heart. Yeah, I'm finna give from the bottom of my purse.
Right.
1 quarter for this offering, 1 quarter for the next offering. Absolutely not. I gave you all I could give. You gonna judge me? That's what I thought. Y'all is crazy. Stop letting these people play in y'all face. Because, baby, it would have took the whole choir to get me off of you if you want to lock me in that damn church. I'm telling you that right now.
Right. I understand that churches are buildings that have to keep lights on, you know, and that's how they keep their lights on. It's how people get paid. But I do think sometimes people do take it too far. And this is definitely too far. Then you have the churches that are just straight, you know, robbing people millions of dollars. And a lot of people, you know, are mad about my $50 mug. Right? Like I'm locking people in. You guys are hilarious. Let's see what this brother has to say.
Close the doors, ain't nobody leaving until we get $40,000 tonight. And then he said, shh, this ain't the time to be talking. Giving is worship. Told the preachers to put their money up. He said it was for the people, the congregation, online and in person. I told my wife they would have opened the doors for me because they was going to kick me out. I would have went viral up in that church that day. Because I don't have a problem with tithing or giving.
Right.
Matter of fact, I do it freely anyway. But you're not going to demand me. You're not going to tell the ushers to close the doors and say we not leaving until we get $20,000. And I ain't gonna lie, when I seen people talking about it and reacting to it, I was like, maybe they just overreacting. And then I seen the actual video of him demanding and forcing these people to get his money. And I was like, who is he talking to? Like, the audacity of him to, like, go about it this way. But I'm genuinely curious. So if any church goer or preacher, anybody in the, you know, church, like, I really want to know, what does a church need that much money for? Like, what does the money that you receive from the tithes, the offerings, the donations, like, where is it going to? Is it invested into the church? Is it invested into the people of the church, the community? Like, where? And don't get me wrong, I know that the church it's technically, when you break it down, it's a business. It got bills, it got to be paid and things like that. But you know, from the outside looking in, especially these big churches, a lot of people look at them just like they money hungry. Like, cause what? I don't know. We can make a whole different video about this.
Right. And guys, I do think that, like, context is everything. And depending on your organization, you know, churches, they're like non-profit companies. I know they don't get taxed, right? I don't know too much about how churches make their money, but I believe there's like let's talk to Miss Coffee. Miss Coffee, are churches non-profit businesses? Are most of them set up that way?
Great question, and a common one. Here's the quick breakdown. Yes, most churches in the U.S. are considered nonprofit organizations under the law, specifically classified as 501(c)(3) tax-exempt organizations by the IRS. What that means? They don't pay federal income taxes. They can receive tax-deductible donations. They're allowed to earn income as long as it supports their religious or charitable mission. How churches make money legally: tithes and offerings, voluntary donations from members, events and fundraisers, concerts, conferences, dinners, etc.
Okay. And it goes on to name a bunch of stuff. I mean, obviously, guys, there's some incredible amount of scamming going on in churches. We're just going to keep it real. There is. right? And I think it's different for a lot of people because they guise themselves as this place where, you know, it's nonprofit. We're doing this for the work of God and not only ourselves, when the reality is probably the opposite. Myself, I believe in capitalism. I believe in innovation. I think that is a good thing, right? I believe in making money. I encourage you to start a business. I encourage you to pursue one. I don't think it's for everybody, but that's a different concept, right? If they were a business, if it was Apple or Gucci, people don't complain as much, you know, because I think Gucci, Apple, and other things that people buy willingly with their own money, they don't set themselves up as nonprofit institutions. So there's a lot here. Listen, guys, of course, I'm curious to know what you think. Do not forget to hit that link pinned to the top of the comment section, and maybe there's still a mug left for you in exchange for a review. You're reviewing the guide that we've set up, prenuptial agreement guide. Click the link pinned to the top of the comment section. We'll talk soon, guys. I'm out. Peace.